90,000 public school grade 12 pupils will receive their results at midnight. For more on this, we cross to our reporter Mahlako Komane, who's standing by for us in Midrand.
Yes, thank you very much, Nompu. We are out here at Voda World indeed. It's less than 4 hours to go before the minister takes the podium to then announce the progress of the class of 2018, how the matriculants of 2018 have fared this year. But just before that, we are here, the whole everything is done, it's ready, it's almost all systems go, just waiting, I think the whole country in anticipation for that big announcement. But before that, at 4 o'clock, we will be live on the technical briefing that will take place as well, just to iron out what it is that happened during the course of this examination last year, how the department fared, were there any issues that have worried them as per se. But also, I think our viewers at home can listen to that on SABC News online, our website. You're able to catch that live there, and we'll also be bringing you the announcement from 6 o'clock on SABC 1 and from also on the SABC News channel on DSTV channel 404. We'll also be taking that live. But I am going to speak to Mr. Nkosimphendule Ntantala, who is the president of NAPTOSA, and he's just going to tell me, as a union, the sector, how have they found this year? How has the working relationship been with the department? Are their members happy? What are the challenges that perhaps they faced, and also maybe just some of the successes that they feel have come out of the 2018 matriculation exam process? Thank you so much for talking to us, Mr. Ntantala. Can you just please tell us, 2018, the class of 2018, are you happy with the conduct of how the exams were rather conducted last year?
Thank you very much. Firstly, from NAPTOSA's side, we would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the Department of Basic Education and the Examination Directorate for the manner in which they have managed the examinations. And we would also want to take this opportunity to congratulate the class of 2018 for the expected performance which will be announced this evening. Well, I want to say that 2018 was not an easy year. People will know that we have had a lot of incidents of violence in our schools that have tended to threaten the safety of the teachers and our learners. And the discipline in the schools was therefore very questionable. Teachers somehow felt disempowered as a result of the amount of violence that took place. We have also seen an addition of 12 new subjects into the examination system. But despite all that, we are hopeful that there might be a possible improvement in the results owing to the stability that we have observed in the NSC examination. Starting from 2017 up to 2018, at least we were somehow comfortable with the manner in which the NSC examination was handled. I need to also indicate that the introduction of the 12 new subjects could have posed a kind of a challenge to the teachers in terms of effectively and efficiently delivering the curriculum in the schools. And we would want to expect that as a sector, we do more in terms of empowering teachers regarding those particular new subjects.
Mr. Ntantala, can you just please tell me, we know that Minister Mthega, this is 10 years, also the NEC, this marks the 10th year. And as a sector, do you feel that, having a minister, she's obviously survived the most cabinet reshuffles as a minister. Do you feel that perhaps the stability that you talk about in this sector is owing to that, having the same person for over 10 years to be able to record proper results? Is there such a thing as a union in the sector? What are your views on that?
Yeah, well, To a great extent, yes, because we believe as NAPTOSA, everything else rests on the kind of leadership that you have in any organization. And so, yeah, Minister Motshekga has done quite a considerable amount of work, which is very pleasing to the unions, together with his DG, Mr. Matanzima Mweli, and we have had a lot of productive consultations between unions and the DG and the Minister of Basic Education. And also I need to state that, it has become a norm that whenever you have a new minister, you're likely going to see changes into the education sector. And so I believe because she has stayed longer, we have not seen a lot of those changes that could be disruptive to the system.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us, Mr. Ntantala.
Thank you very much.
We're also going to be joined now, Mpumi, by Mr. Mutona Johannes. He is the Vice President of the Professional Education Union. And we're also just going to be asking him as well. We know that this year, this is one of the largest cohorts that have sat down for the National Senior Certificate. And we're just going to be asking him as a union, how have they found this year? How have they also found the last 10 years, as we would know that this is the 10th year that the National Senior Certificate, it's been 10 years since it was introduced, rather. Thank you so much for talking to us, Mr. Mutona. Can you just please tell me, we're here in the beginning of 2019, 2018. Are you happy with the conduct of examinations?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. On the overall, we can say that even though the minister has not yet announced the 2018 matric results, but we say so far so good, because we are expecting good results this afternoon. But in any event, let me just indicate that the mandate of the basic education sector is to provide quality education, which is teaching and learning. So therefore, in every institution, as Professional Educators Union, we know that the three key pillars is curriculum, teachers, and we are in the 21st century now. We no longer talk about the textbooks, because we are in the fourth industrial revolution. So therefore, things have to change for the better. So we are still having schools that are lacking in terms of infrastructure. You see, where you find that there is not even internet connectivity. So we are urging on the department so that all the schools, remember, we are talking about equity. So in order to address equity, we know that we compliment the department in what it's doing, but the pace in which it's doing, I think it needs to be more faster, because if there is no equity, then it becomes a problem in terms of measuring your results. Remember, you can't compare things that are not the same. So I think the resources plays a very important role. And the other thing is with the I indicated when I started with the curriculum, because now with the curriculum, we know that the teacher needs to be capacitated as well. Remember that at some schools, you'll find that in relation to curriculum, which is CAPS, you find that teachers are not empowered on pedagogical skills. Then it poses a challenge for learners, because if somebody is standing in front of them with not having the necessary competencies to can deliver the matter, then that is a barrier for the learners. You see, you find that the teacher is a barrier, and that is a contextual factor. So that is another thing. Then when it comes to the resources, as I indicated, we have to have laptops and up-to-date software that are on par with the curriculum, so that learners could learn, and therefore we will get better learning outcomes, because they are interlinked.
Have these, you spoke about infrastructure, and you also spoke about the infrastructure, not comparing bananas to apples as a result of what people have, your educators have in the classroom. Would you say that, are there any interventions by the department to ensure that this is being addressed? Have you seen any, any work being done in that regard to ensure that those type of needs are met?
Really, the pace, of course, the department is doing all that it can, but the pace is so slow, because remember, at those schools that do not have those infrastructure, you can what type of teaching and learning do you expect in such schools? Because they are really lagging behind. Maybe to cite an example, even though I cannot be specific, remember there are still some schools that do not have basic facilities like a toilet. Sanitation, then it's a problem. So the issue of hygiene at those schools is still a problem, not mentioning the factors like those that are in the classroom that they are lacking. You see, some schools do not even have whiteboards and so on. Hence, we are talking the 21st century skills.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mutuna. We heard from Mr. Mutuna. He is the Vice President, of course, of the Professional Education Union. And just speaking there about the issue of infrastructure, obviously we would have seen this year that there was a big campaign to try and address the issue of sanitation. But clearly we have unions here stating that, the challenge goes outside of the toilet. It goes from in the classroom downright also into infrastructure like your toilet as well. And obviously, NAPTOSA congratulating what they feel that was a well-run examination process by the department in 2018. And we will be just here, Nomputu, just to get that big announcement, see what the class of 18 has achieved last year, and as well just to remind viewers out there that at midnight today those results are going to be available. And obviously we're going to see quite a lot of students going out into your petrols, your filling stations to get the examination, and those that will be doing it off a digital platform. Back to you in studio.
For that, Mahlako, just less than 3.5 hours before we get those matric results from the minister. We're going to go for a short break and have more news for you thereafter.
On Media Monitor, we leave no stones unturned.
We don't have shared principles when it comes to media freedom.
From the integrity of journalists to accusations of fake news.
If anybody comes with an alternative view, he starts referring to it as fake news.
We also look at the safety of our journalists while covering stories on the field.
This is something that we're faced with daily. From journalists who say they've been physically or verbally attacked by community members.
Watch Media Monitor Sundays at 9 a.m.
Don't be afraid to open yourself up to new experiences. Exchange and share ideas and crafts. I want to move on from the idea of the African as an exotic person who dances nicely and makes good artwork. We must be at the cutting edge of everything possible as we once were. Many ancient African kingdoms had scientific and mathematical knowledge that still baffles experts today.
When I look at Africa, I see hope, I see trust, bright colors, warm smiles, variety and difference. In the end, it's not just about wanting to know what the African look is or if we have a common African identity.
A meteorite hit the Earth 2 million years ago, creating an enormous impact of crater, about 10 kilometers in diameter near Vredefort in the Free State, 100 kilometers southwest of Johannesburg, now known as the Vredefort Dome, a South African World Heritage Site. The meteorite is said to have been larger than Table Mountain and caused a 1,000 megaton blast of energy. The impact would have heated about 70 cubic kilometers of rock and have increased the Earth's oxygen levels to a degree that made the development of multicellular life possible. The world has about 130 crater structures of possible impact origin. The Vredefort Dome is the largest in the world, followed by Sudbury Crater in Canada and the Chicxulub Crater in Mexico.
Congenital disorders or birth defects are defined as abnormalities of body structure or function that are present at birth.
Some of those defects, they can come as an isolated or they can be in combination with a syndrome.
According to the World Health Organization, 300 million people are affected by depression globally.
One can be depressed as a child and then later it manifests in early adulthood.
Join us on Health Talk, Saturdays at 9 a.m.